Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. This is episode 7, series 64 of the daily walking podcast that tempts you away from your desk to walk in nature for just 10 minutes at lunchtime or another time of your choosing. Today, whimsy is important. I want to discuss a concept that I'm struggling to articulate, but the fact that the way that our brains are made means that whimsy occurs naturally in dreams. And if that is the case, which it is, given that that is the case, then it must be important. It must have survived from a sort of evolutionary point of view. It must be important enough to have made it this far through human evolution. And so, therefore, it must serve some kind of beneficial purpose, ? Welcome to Walk the Pod. Psychologists have pondered the purpose of dreams for decades now and try to work out why we dream and what this theatre of the mind is actually doing anyway. Doesn't always make an enormous amount of sense that we would have a system where, as we lose consciousness and drift into deep sleep, we also experience a strange conflation of ideas and images and concepts which come to us as sort of visions, really, and that those things can spark new ways of looking at the world, sometimes even new ideas. And that makes whimsy important. It says the fact that I have dreamt of something entirely whimsical. Robin touched on fire-breathing dragons, lords with rings and hobbits yesterday, noting that it wasn't particularly of interest to him, which is absolutely fair enough. But these are the sorts of things that our mind conjures for us in the middle of the night sometimes. Sometimes it creates sort of anxiety-induced scenarios where we're being chased or someone's trying to murder us or we need to run away or similar. But often it is just chaos, mad chaos. And creativity experts think that the brain uses the theatre of the mind in the night to smash concepts, ideas, thoughts, memories together to help us to come up with ideas which can only be created by doing exactly that, if that makes sense. So we might not have some of our best ideas where our mind not able to pick up one idea, place it next to another and see how they fit, which is actually a technique for creativity coined by J.B. Webb decades ago, a sort of waking process by which you can simulate what your brain does when you're asleep. So that makes whimsy sort of crucial for ideas, doesn't it? Not just a nice to have sort of thing, but actually one of the foundations of creativity itself, perhaps. This is something I would love us to discuss. So if you have any thoughts about that, please get in touch. You can get in touch in a few different ways. You can email walkthepod@gmail.com. You can go to walkthepod.com and you can press the button marked leave a voice note for Walk the Pod. And that will take you to an app called SpeakPipe. SpeakPipe is exceptionally straightforward. I do love it. It's simply a way that you can press a microphone button on your computer and speak into the microphone and record me 90 seconds of your beautiful voice. You don't have to make an account. You don't have to give it any of your personal information or hand over your PIN number or anything. It's marvellous. And the lovely thing about it is that I can put the voice note into the very next episode. So, if you would like to do that, I would be absolutely delighted, and we can see whether we can find another angle to look at before the end of the series. I do find it interesting how digging into a topic unearths new stuff. You think you know what you think about something, but actually exploring it for a few episodes means that you have to think a little bit beyond your immediate ideas, and you get to better stuff that way. This perhaps is why it's a good idea to never take your first thought, but always go slightly beyond, try and find the second or third or fourth thought in order to unearth something interesting. What can I see directly in front of me? Well, I'm walking my local streets early in the morning today. There's white vans driving around, for white vans populate the roads in the UK in the early morning, getting to wherever they need to be for their jobs before the traffic gets crazy. You can see people sort of marching to work in a determined fashion. And I'm delighted to say that I've just found a new little library. Little libraries are where people create a little book swap bookcase in their front garden. And you're encouraged to take a book, you're encouraged to leave a book. But it doesn't work in a traditional library format. You don't have to return the book to the library, and nor do you have to leave a book in order to take a book. It is done on a much more sort of benevolent approach of just, here are some books, I will maintain this book swap if you will visit it. And it's always lovely to see. It's my favourite thing to see in a front garden. And there have been a few which have come and gone over the last few years, but I know of 3 in the local area now, adding this last one. And one day, poddies, when I have a little bit more wherewithal, I will perhaps have a little library outside home myself. But for now, I stalk the streets in search of left books. And I'm a huge fan of the modern book swap bookcase, as you know. And I can't entirely understand why it's more interesting to find a book wild in the environment than it is to buy one. But somehow, the randomness of it is wonderful. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this morning. Hope you're enjoying your walk wherever you are. If you would like to join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club to support my work and get a little bit more from Walk the Pod by way of behind the scenes conversations, chats with the likes of Kiwi Rob, Rear Admiral Tin of the People's Independent Republic of Croydon, and a beautiful vinyl sticker of the Walk the Pod artwork to stick on your laptop or your face. I would love you to join. You can do that by walkthepod.com as well. That button is called Join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club. Take care of your beautiful mind. And I'll be back with episode 8 tomorrow.